We're solid. Welcome back, everybody, back to the SHAM-BAM podcast today. I can't keep a straight face. Anytime I try to tell a joke, like, I can't. I'm the guy who's always cracking up. Like, there's no way. My coworkers always make fun of me for that. Like, anytime they see me walk up to their office because I have something formulated in my brain, they're like, Kevin, it's not going to be funny because you're just coming here with this giant smirk.
I'm sure I'd laugh at it.
Thank you. That's why I have you here, to just boost my self-esteem. Anyway, today, guys, we have... Can I say your full name? I always ask because some people, I don't know, get sensitive about that. Today, we have a guest. His name is Jake Lofgren. Y'all know him as the man who... you don't know him, actually. But some of you do. Some of you listeners do. Unfortunately, guys, if a couple of you... I know my live actually started getting more people watching it. Mm-hmm. So if anybody comments, I can't see because usually I have somebody's, like, Courtney's phone or something, but actually her phone, like, doesn't work. But anyway, it's really hard to monitor their comments live here and all that mumbo jumbo. But anyway, dang, it's early, Jake. Last time it was like
Absolutely.
Like 10. Who are you making that clicking noise?
Yeah.
Is that the Tourette's?
Yeah, it's a new one.
Really?
I made the mistake of watching Predator.
Oh, bro. Dude, not gonna lie, when I asked you to be a part of the podcast, I totally forgot that you had Tourette's. Like, completely. It's so weird how, like, all my, like... Because even, like, right now that I'm thinking about it, I can notice it.
Yeah.
But, like, even when we have normal conversations, like when we were at church or whatever, I don't remember, like, the Tourette's isn't in my brain. Like, when I think about conversations we had, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it
or
is
even,
in
like,
mine.
when we're talking. It's just, and then I felt like, I kind of felt bad because I was like, oh, I asked him to be in the podcast, which is all audio. And then I was like, crap. I hope. But then I was like, well, then he did say he was cool with it.
Yeah.
So then he must be all right with it.
Nah,
but
it's all right. No problem.
yeah. But I thought that was Courtney doing like something clicking sound or whatever. I thought she had a pen.
That's funny.
But anyway, you watched Predator. Dude, that's so funny. You're funny, dude. You can freaking make anybody laugh. You just have to laugh. Everybody knows you have the most contagious laughter in this side of the Mississippi, man. But anyway, I do have a couple topics. Okay, let me not go on a tangent. I go on tangents a ton. I think that's what bugs people a lot, is because I can't keep myself together. Like, I can't. So I do have a couple things I'm going to list off, give you guys a little teaser about what we're going to be talking about today. I don't like taking out the mic because it makes all this sound, but I need to work on that too. Like, a ton of podcasters, like, have it down to where, like, they can pick up the mic and move it around. You don't hear that.
Yeah.
I don't know what they do. They're freaking wizards or something. It's witchcraft. So today we're going to be talking about, I don't know if you knew about YouTube going down worldwide for a little bit.
Yeah, I heard about that.
You heard about that? Yeah, Josh and I were trying to, like, watch videos together, and he was like, we have to... Courtney said I should be careful about this because I complain about this place a lot because there's so many issues. But we have, like, the worst Wi-Fi ever. Like, worst Wi-Fi in the land. Like, it's unbearable. Like, I don't know if you heard of this yet, but, like, Joshua, when he was doing his music stuff, his art school, we had to drive him down to McDonald's to use their Wi-Fi so he could upload assignments. Yeah, that's how bad it was here.
Is he still here?
Yeah, well, he's at work. He's at work, but he's still chilling with us. Yeah, he's kicking it here. He's gonna move out at the end of the year.
Oh, okay, cool.
You know, my parents are already gone. Everyone's gone. Didn't want to leave him under a bridge. So
still sandwich artist.
Still a sandwich artist.
Very
yes,
good.
he's still creating art pieces with sandwich artists. But anyway, so the YouTube thing, YouTube went down for a while worldwide, and people are starting to connect this to the whole SpaceX thing, and we'll get into that.
Really?
Yeah. I can just pick up this. I don't have to take it out of the thing.
Maybe that's what they do.
Maybe it. Oh! Jake, you're a detective. We're gonna talk about the moon and how to stop it. And then we're just gonna talk about some space stuff because I'm super into space. I think I've told you that before. Like,
all right.
I read a rat. That guy shaving in the bathroom. We'll talk about that too. We're gonna talk about Operation High Jump, and that goes with the space stuff.
Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Adam. How you doing? Thank you, Courtney. You're great. And then we're going to talk about televangelists and a little bit about business. So it's an exciting episode, guys. So stay tuned and make sure you listen. Hit that subscribe button if you're generic YouTuber all of a sudden. But yeah, anyway, thank you so much, everybody who's been supporting the podcast too. I really appreciate it. So first and foremost, let's talk about this whole YouTube thing. So you weren't probably trying to get into YouTube or whatever when it was down.
I had a friend that texted me. He's like, "Yeah, YouTube's down. The world's ending," or something like that. And I was doing homework. And I was like, "Well, I'm busy."
I'm busy. Bro, there's meteors falling from the sky. You gotta get out. Bro, I'm busy. Jeez.
Homework.
I got my thesis to write. Doesn't even care.
Well, that's the thing, though. It's like he told me it went down or whatever, and then I went on YouTube and I watched a video.
Yeah.
So it must not have been that long. Like,
It wasn't that. It was very brief.
Oh.
But it's the first time in like YouTube history that it's gone down worldwide.
Huh.
So that's why everyone's flipping out about it. So how people are starting to like tie this in to the SpaceX thing is, did you see the launch at all? Did you go out? Were you writing a thesis on that part too?
I heard about it and put some pictures on
yeah.
Facebook.
So I mean, I was working on podcast stuff and trying to make connections. So I missed it. And I'm infuriated with all my friends because 90% of my friends know I'm obsessed with space and anything like space related, you know. So a lot of my friends recorded it. They were out there watching, and then they didn't care to text Kevin, "Hey, go outside and you'll be happy because you'll see something awesome." Nope. I was just in here. And then they told me after the fact. But anyway. And I guess I'm one of the prime examples too that a lot of the people are saying SpaceX, that whole launch wasn't really advertised almost anywhere. So you'd expect usually like a launch of some sort would kind of be advertised. Like the news would probably cover it. Oh, make sure you look at the sky this time, you know, whatever, to see the launch. I don't know. I'm so ignorant, but I'm so dumb. But you know, you'd expect there'd be some kind of like publicity about this event. And it was just strange to a lot of people how like a lot of people didn't even know about it. Like they just saw this thing and they're like, "Holy crap, what is this?" They later find out it's SpaceX. So then people were starting making theories that this is actually like aliens, extraterrestrial, like life beings like flying around in the sky.
And then they just told everyone it was SpaceX.
Right, and then they just told, like, trying to covering it up, saying, "Oh, it's Elon Musk's project, SpaceX, all this stuff." And then they were like, "Okay." And then I was like, "Okay, yeah, that makes sense." But then people are saying, "Oh, YouTube was taken down worldwide. They must have." Now, what they're saying is, sorry, burpee, is that they must have like start working covering this up. So like they took it down, they found all the videos related to like that has the real information, real aliens were here, whatever, and they were deleting all those videos and silencing it or whatever. So that's what everybody's talking about. In terms of conspiracy theories really are fun. They're fun. Conspiracy theories, a lot of people, I guess, because either people are super into them and say the earth is flat, I don't care what you say, or there's people who like hate it, like they'll like not demonize, but they'll like ridicule like anybody who has like some sort of conspiracy. I can't even. Anybody who has a conspiracy like theory, they like to think about. They're just like, "Oh, that person's so dumb. You can't take anything they say seriously," or whatever.
You know what I've noticed with all of that stuff, like flat Earth and aliens and all that? I was actually thinking about this yesterday because I was getting my tires changed and like some ancient alien show was on the TV. I was eating their popcorn there. It was like stale and all. But like I noticed they have like every one of these things has like a convention. Like they said Alien Con, right? And so I'm like,
even Flat Earth Society has huge conventions that they have, like,
and then like bring celebrities and all that stupid crap,
insane.
you know. And so I'm just thinking, like, you know, I feel like for the most part, especially with like the internet and how global everything is now, like, I feel like a lot of those things are really just for people to get together. You know? like they don't care about any of that crap. Yeah, they just want to be part of like a fad. You know?
Be part of something. Yeah, they never fit in anywhere else.
Well, it's just like, you know, there's something powerful about being part of some group that's like exclusive to like some weird belief.
Everybody wants to be part of that. Like no matter, like, you know what I'm saying? Like even you see in friend groups, that's mainly why people have friend groups, because they want to be part of something. But yeah, like you said, some people just want to be a part of like a big thing. So
it's just like, join these, I'm an anti-vaxxer flat earther, you know. It's like they want to be able to like label themselves to something to you know, be part of a group or whatever, or be different. Yeah. And so anyway, in light of that, I'm just thinking like a lot of this stuff, it's like it just like fuels all of these little groups, and they have their conventions. Like, I don't know, I don't buy into it. That's all. That's the conclusion of what I'm trying to say. They weren't
invited to VidCon.
And so they want to be on the panel rather than like in front of it, right? And so they have to make something up.
That's insane, dude. I just find this stuff like, I like, one of the things I was thinking about this week is whenever people really dial into some belief or something, I think that's not really necessarily dangerous, but like it's not that great, you know. It's good to be able to like really know what's right and wrong, and you know, really kind of dial into that so you don't stray and freaking commit a crime, or, you know, something like that. But when people really just like dial into their one central beliefs and everything else, they shut everything else out. That's when you get the most ignorant people ever, you know.
That's what's funny is that, like, I don't know, and like this is just me like making my own observations. I'm probably wrong on all of it, but like,
hey, it's your opinion. It's right. It's the right opinion.
Yeah.
You know why? Because it's yours. Yeah. Anyway, cool.
Yeah, that's what Facebook says to everybody. But anyway, like, I don't even. Where was I going with that?
I know. I'm sorry. I cut you off and killed it.
Something along the. Oh yeah. So they have these conventions and all this stuff, and they try to publicize everything. It's like, you don't see CNN at a freaking alien con, you know, or whatever news group. It's like, it's not getting anywhere. Like, you can have a convention, but it just, you know, feeds the group.
Right. Yeah. It's for the group exclusively.
Yeah. It's like, you really think you're gonna have a convention and just like change all these people's minds, you know, like, or, well, I guess the convention's not necessarily for that, but like, you know, spreading the information, it seems like it really only serves to bolster the people that are already in it, like to make them feel like they're getting somewhere.
Right. I've accomplished something in my life.
Yeah.
I built this. This is my empire.
Yeah, it's an alien con.
But I don't know, I just really like just thinking about, like, it's just food for thought for me, you know what I'm saying? Like, in one of my podcasts, I was talking with my buddy Danny, and how one of the like a flat earth theory, because this guy, like, I was listening to another podcast, and this guy was in it, and he was talking about, he was a flat earther, but he wasn't like, because he said like a lot of a big misconception is that like people usually think, oh, if you're a flat earther, you believe this one thing like all the other flat earthers, but there's a ton of different like theories of flat earth society or whatever, how the world works. And basically this one guy was talking about like how like everything's a code, and we are all just information, and it's just a huge giant video game that's coded so meticulously, like, if you think about it, I was like, man, this is like crazy to just think about. Like, you know, if you're playing a game, you can't walk through walls, you'll take fall damage, you'll get shot, you die, that kind of thing. It's the same thing here. It's just everything's so like programmed, like so crazy and big. Anyway, I think I said almost the exact same phrasing on that one than I did in that podcast.
You're live on your regular channel.
Really?
Not on SHAM-BAM yet.
Shoot, really?
Yeah.
No, I was on SHAM-BAM.
Nope.
Well, who cares? Well, this is actually kind of a good thing because I have more followers and more people tune in on my regular account, because I'm trying to get my SHAM-BAM account like rolling, and I'm trying to get like So I wanted to talk about business too, like setting up a business and like kind of strategies like that, because I mean, I know you were trying to get something started. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to obviously get something going here. Mm-hmm. But I've been trying to... I listen to a lot of Gary Vee, okay? Gary Vee, I think, is just he's a very influential, like, speaker, you know? You know who he is. You don't?
Maybe. If I saw his face, I probably know.
Okay, no, it's fine. But anyway, he's like this business guy. He like... has a podcast, and he'll put like a ton of videos on Instagram and stuff. Just very like influential, inspirational kind of guy. Mm-hmm. But he mentioned one thing, and I don't know why it just stuck with me the whole time. It was like, whatever you're doing, be on every platform that you can. Yeah. So like, just go to every single platform available. So like, I'm working on creating an iTunes Connect account, which I just figured out. It's so like hard to. It was super hard to figure that one out.
Really?
Yeah, but like I have to like pay like $100, so I'm gonna like wait till next month to do that.
Is that to get on the iTunes podcast?
Yeah, to get on the actual podcast. Do you know that podcast actually came from like iPod? Mm-hmm. So that's where like podcast came from.
Yeah,
it's strictly from like.
Well, that's why I was kind of like, because like when you said you had SHAM-BAM podcast, that's where I went to look for it. I was like,
right. So I feel like that's the main part I need to get on. Mm-hmm. I need to get on the podcast app, because that's where I listen to all my podcasts.
Right.
I'm on SoundCloud. That's where I'm mainly on where I do the upload the audio. Mm-hmm. But I never go to SoundCloud for other podcasts, you know? So, I mean, I have some followers there, and I get quite a bit of listens. I think they're just bots. Yeah. SoundCloud is so, like, famous for bots. There's just bots really? Everywhere, yeah. So sometimes I'll get these followers, and I'm just waiting for it to, like... This is how my follower goes. It goes like...
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the bots keep going and leaving. So then you get the real subscribers, or like listeners who will kind of stay. So that's how it kind of. This is a very like poor interpretation,
I know
visualization of how it works. But dang, what was I? Oh yeah. So I'm trying to get out in every platform I can. So that's why I have an Instagram. That's why I made a Facebook page, which I don't promote at all, because I mean, why? So anyway, I should start doing that. I'm just never on Facebook, period. But that's personal. Sorry, I need to work on that. And I'm working on getting a Spotify account. You know, I'm trying to just get out there, and with the YouTube account too, which is doing better now. I got a couple subscribers, getting some views. But dang it, I hate when I really go on like massive like, and then I try to come back and I'm like, where was I? I don't even know. But so I'm trying to do that. Oh yeah, so I guess it was a bad idea to not check where I was live. Yeah. But at the same time, I do have more people tuning, because like I've also been trying, because I've been so like social media obsolete. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like as in like I haven't been there. I don't post anything. So like. Nobody, like, I'm trying to post more regularly so that people can see, oh, Kevin's still live, Kevin's doing this, so then I can be able to have my own, like, stuff to be able to promote the podcast. So I guess it's okay if I put it here. I put it live here. More people tune in, probably, so.
I'm the only person tuned in.
That's how it always works in the beginning.
You did have two people earlier, though.
I did, yeah. They'll come and go. It's fine. Yeah. But anyway, we're still early on, man. People were saying like I listen to other podcasts. I don't know how much you listen to podcasts. Do you listen to a lot of podcasts?
Yeah, I listen to a lot of Ben Shapiro and I can't remember the other guy's name. Steven look Crowder. At that. Nevin Coita started a live video. See,
I like how it notifies you too.
Yeah.
Steven Crowder, do you listen to him?
No, not really. I do every now and then. I think I like a lot of what he says and everything like that, but I feel like he gets a little inflammatory. And I get kind of tired of that.
He does.
But like, I mean, Ben Shapiro does too, honestly. But at least
my favorite is Christopher.
Christopher
Peterson.
Yeah.
Because he's so calm, dude. He is so calm and collected. 90% of the time, I've seen him like kind of get a little like, but like. I just love the way he articulates and delivers his thoughts. It's so as a person who has such a, I don't know. I don't think he does. I don't listen to him. I'll just
like in conversation or whatever.
He's very, I can tell that he's not very tech savvy. He doesn't know a lot about technology and stuff. Like I've seen him. He was in I think it was like the Louder with Crowder or whatever, the Steven Crowder show or whatever. And he was webcamming, and he had a difficult time like with the webcam, and didn't know. Yeah, like you could just tell. Like he was like, "Can you see me?" His lighting wasn't even there. He didn't have like it was just. But I'm not like bashing on him. I'm just saying it was kind of funny. He's just like that kind of like grandpa who you have to help with internet. But he's very intellectual, you know, kind of like Einstein. You know, he just doesn't know anything about. He just knows. He knows he's really good at what he knows and what he does, but everything else is kind of like mediocre.
He has a lot of those. He'll do like these really, really long Facebook posts, which is great. I like if you read them and sit down and read them, they're really good. Like you said, he's very articulate and everything. Yeah. But like the fact that it's just only on Facebook, and it is kind of long. Like if you're scrolling through Facebook, you're not going to stop on this like, you know,
giant thing.
Like, it's like the Bible, right? Like, you know, and so like
First Nephi, the whole chapter's on there.
Yeah. So like that would kind of help him. Maybe it would be good for him to start a podcast or something and get it out that way.
But that's what I'm trying to do with this thing, is I'm trying to get out on every platform. But yeah, so you listen to, I don't know why I figured you would like listen to like those kinds.
Yeah. Brendan Burchard. I listen to him too. He's not like in political or anything. He's just like motivational and all that. I like him.
Yeah. But I listen to like a lot of I listen to garbage. Honestly, it's not. I didn't mean to offend these podcasters, even though they're never going to listen to this, so I didn't offend them. But I listen to like Basement Yard, Joe Santagato, and like Tiny Meat Gang.
Joe Santagato.
With Noel Miller and Cody Ko. They're super funny. I listen to a lot of comedy. And one of the podcasts I listen to though too is H3. I don't know if you've heard of them.
I've heard of that. I don't know.
With Ethan Klein.
Yeah.
And Hila. What was that?
They're probably setting up Halloween stuff still.
Oh, they're on the other side. It's okay. We get like random stuff.
Yeah, like for the garbage stuff, I usually just stick to YouTube because it's like a 10-minute thing. You know, I can like.
You don't have to waste an hour. Yeah.
If I'm gonna do that, like it's gonna be like something I can like, you know, think about a little bit. Like,
no, I listen to garbage, dude. No, but I do that like while like during work, so it's not like I'm doing really anything. Because I'm working and I'm just listening and just like,
That's what's funny though, is like, speaking of that, like I usually like listen to Ben Shapiro, get like what's going on, and like I don't really think about it after that. But like recently, like this last news cycle has been so like insane. It's just hysterical. Like Elizabeth Warren claiming that she's in like Native American, and it's like 1,024th, even if it's maybe Native American, right? Yeah. So there's that, and then President, you know, Trump, this guy that like the same position's been held by like George Washington and Ronald Reagan, and you know, like, and he calls like this like lady that he slept with while he was married a horse face. It's like, what the heck is going on?
I know it's crazy now.
What made me laugh?
It used to be such a chivalrous environment.
Well, actually, if you look through history, there's a lot of points where it really wasn't. Like,
I didn't. Chivalrous was the wrong word. I meent like more like
professional.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, you go back to like the early days, like John Adams and stuff, and it was like. It was chaotic. Insane. But like, anyway, with this thing, it's like Ben Shapiro, he's like, he's like, I don't know if that was an offense to her or offense to him, the fact that he's sleeping with like a horse.
That's true, man. Yeah. That's actually what I think about a lot of the times when you see these like dumb posts like on Instagram of like some dude ranting about his ex, saying she's like this ugly piece of I was like, you dated her. Yeah. You kissed her.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what does that make you?
So it made me laugh pretty good. But yeah.
My gosh, Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro does get really heated, though.
Oh, yeah. His
videos, like you said, we talked about it. It's always like, Ben Shapiro destroys.
Yeah, that's so... I just get tired of that because it's
Wrecks, like... decimates.
Like, I have, like, cousins and stuff that are pretty liberal and everything, and, like, I don't agree with them, but, like, I don't feel like they need to be destroyed,
exactly, yeah.
Like...
It's like, I'm, like... Everybody in this podcast already kind of knows we are more right-wing people, more conservative.
Yeah.
But still, like, I do have liberal friends and who are rational people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just the irrational that are always being publicized and stuff that for some reason we enjoy watching getting ridiculed because they're just so like you're a demon because you don't believe me. You believe in what I believe. So
and that's the same on both sides too. Like,
no, it's definitely the same on both sides. It's totally the same on both sides. I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it both. Like, especially during like the Trump elections. Elections, the presidential elections. But that whole the presidential campaign, like I totally saw it from the conservative side as well. The right side. It's the evil, and that's what I was kind of talking about, dialing into something. Once you really just like this is what you believe and everything else is wrong, like that's a very dangerous kind of mindset, because then you're not going to progress as an individual.
Well, that whole thing's really ramping up again too, because like the midterm elections, and then it's going to start to run, because that's the thing. Elizabeth Warren, like, it looks like, anyway, I don't know if it was like official or not, but it looks like she was kind of gearing up to run. But then this whole the whole Native American thing came out, and by the way, she posted those results herself.
Really?
Because like President Trump did this thing. He's like, if Elizabeth Warren does the genetic test, it's like, I think it's like 32 and me. I can't remember that's something like that. But like, anyway, he's like, if you do that, I'll and you prove you're Native American, I'll give you $1 million. And so she posts it, and she's won 1,024th, maybe because they used like DNA results from like South American people. Okay. And like not Cherokees, so like, so anyway, she's like, see, like, now you have to pay up. And then everyone's telling President Trump, it's like, okay, well, how about you could just write her a check for $900, because that's 1,024 million.
You can totally tell she was so in it for the money, man. She was cool, free money. I don't even care if this trumps everything I've said.
That's what's so funny is like, it was this whole thing on like identity. Like, she's so like holding on to this thing, trying to like look like a minority, especially since she was using it for so long, right?
Yeah.
Like, I said something, it's not really, like, it didn't really affect her being able to get a lot of her work or whatever, but just the fact that she was pushing it and how offensive that is to, like, the Cherokee people.
Yeah, that is very
offensive. Because, like, after she posted it, she's saying all this stuff, and then, like, they went and said something, it's like, this, like, I can't remember, like, the exact words, but it was like, this is really offensive kind of a thing, that she's not part of the Cherokee Nation, all that stuff. So it's like this massive self-own, and it's like, I wonder if she's still going to run. Like, if she does, I mean, I guess it's not any worse than Trump running. Look at all the crap he, like, did that caused him, and he still got presidency. Dude, so who knows what'll happen.
That's what I think I was watching a comedian. Yeah, Bill Burr. Dude, I love Bill Burr. I talk about him a lot in the podcast, but because like I said, he did a ton of stuff. Bill Burr was talking about like Trump did so many things. And any single one of those things would have completely destroyed anybody else's chance of winning. And he still won.
Yeah.
It was insane. Just the kind of stuff that, like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't know. It's just, again, that's kind of, worrisome on its own. But the fact is that, like, the Democrats and stuff like that still keep, like, going after this same story. Like, Trump did this, Trump did this, Trump did this. Yeah. And it's like, I just don't think it's going to really bear fruit. Like, it hasn't, over the last 2 years. So,
it's just, anyway. It's so hard to even have an opinion. Yeah. Because, like, things are so crazy and so convoluted nowadays that I can't even, like, think straight when I think about this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know what I still stand for, which is primarily just being a decent human being. Okay?
Yeah.
And 90% of the time, even that kind of backfires. And you hold the door open to a girl, and she says you're a freaking misogynistic piece of garbage. True story, guys, by the way. I won't get into that one too. Yeah, I know. That's one thing, too. Because this happened in a college campus. And of course, right? Yeah. And it's funny how we all just, obviously on a college campus. Isn't a college campus supposed to be for higher level of like thinking and education, how is it that you get all these ignorant people like conjoined in a college? You know what I'm saying? How did that happen? Well, usually when you think of school and college, at least when I was a kid, university, I was thinking all these like super smart people are going to university who just have, really, bright thinkers, thinking outside the box, and saying like a place of learning and like reasoning. But now it's just a freaking mess.
Well, like a lot of time, like I don't know how long like it's been going, but like it's been for a while. But like a lot of people usually criticize like colleges and stuff of being like what they call like an ivory tower, right? Like where they're just kind of removed from the world and they're trying like, it used to be like they're studying it like in terms of like economics, right? Like they would be doing like all these models for how they think the economy should actually function and does function, like according to observations and stuff, but they're not actually getting into it and like, okay, like this is about people, like not about like, growth and wealth really, right? And so like, then that was the accusation that they weren't being active. But like you see now like all this activist stuff coming out of colleges, like, which has been for like a long time. I mean, you look back at like the 60s civil rights. I mean, Berkeley is like famous for that, right? But like you get like basically what you have, as far as what I'm seeing, and this is my own observation, like people can criticize it, but like you got these ivory towers that are trying to like do this activist thing, but they're still so far removed from like how real life is that they just don't, like it's just not realistic. Like all of this stuff coming out of it, like, like what you said, like the misogynistic stuff, like it's like, why can't that just be like a nice gesture? Right. Like all this.
Why does it have to be an act of violence? Towards you.
And it's like, and so like it's just the same thing. Like I don't see how it's any different. It's like there's like it's just like this, I went to college and I'm in college and I'm so woke or whatever that's supposed to mean. Like it's like, do you not see like what you're like hear what you're saying?
Exactly. That's like, what I think all the time. It's like, can't you hear yourself?
Yeah.
Just like, listen to yourself. Like I wish these people can have arguments. Like they can clone them. They can have arguments with themselves and see how much of nowhere they're gonna get, because that's exactly what happens. I just really don't like too when somebody's trying to have a discussion and then somebody else just starts making up like their own logic to win. That's what drives me absolutely crazy, and that's why I think I find myself more conservative, because unfortunately a lot of the the left, the radical left, I'll say, because not everybody, not all the liberals are that way, but a lot of the radical left, that's how they are. They're just as soon as they start losing an argument, they'll just make up logic, or they'll try to put words into their opponents, as for lack of better terms, mouth, because that's how they treat them. I'm fighting you right now. It's not even a debate anymore.
Well, that's what's funny is that like the one thing with being liberal, like or at least on like that kind of side of things or that way of thought, like is which like they kind of have a kind of difficult, because with as far as conservative goes, if you actually look at like what it means to be conservative, like you're basing your ideas and the way you see the world off of historical events. Like this has worked for this long, why are we trying to change it? Whereas within the liberal point of view, and if you have that state of mind, it's like you're trying to push something that you can't really prove like within you. Really you can't. Like I mean there's some things like they have studies and stuff and that's all great, and like but like when it comes to like the overall population of the world, like it's just unproven, and like and so it is kind of a hard game. Like I understand that, like it's hard to like try to argue something that you can't realistically like
prove,
like, and you can't prove conservatism either, like just because it's worked up to now doesn't mean it's going to continue, so like but like there is a little bit more of a base behind being conservative that like so more
security, I guess,
and so that's why I kind of tend to lean more that way, because it's like I don't think that the like things like historical data and all that stuff should really be thrown out the window necessarily, like just because like you don't know what the you can do something that you think is so great for the world, but this has this butterfly effect that ends up being a problem, right? That's true. But anyway, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've talked a lot politics.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's fine. I was actually the notes I had were about that, because I prepare podcasts and stuff based on the person. So I know every time we talk, we always end up talking like this. This is just normal for us. So I was like, okay. So I just want one thing that I thought to wrap it, the whole politics side, I guess, up is I feel like a lot of I don't know. I just started thinking, because like coming from a guy who's lived in a like, is Mexico a third world country? I believe it is labeled a third world country. I don't know.
I think so. It's up there though. It's not like Africa.
Right. It's not. It's definitely not. But as somebody who's lived in Mexico, in Tijuana, and grown up with, I don't want to get become a sob story or anything, but it was pretty difficult there. The police were actually corrupt. The narcos were just everywhere. Drug, it was just insane. It was just. It was crazy. I don't know. I just feel like if you have enough time to be getting if your problems consist of being offended, you have it good.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because all these other places, we were freaking scared if we were just gonna get kidnapped or get shot. Mm-hmm. That was I don't know. That's what I tell sometimes people, but they'll get super mad because either they think I'm lying or because I didn't look white, or whatever. But they're just we're one of the first world countries, so we have to strive for perfection, or not perfection.
That's the thing though. It's okay, so I served my mission in India. I was there for 2 years. I obviously haven't lived grown up,
right?
But just seeing the difference in problems between a developing nation versus the United States, and it really just kind of bothers me when all these people are claiming that the United States is so off base. Yeah. It's you have no idea what that even means. Yeah. In India, I was there, they would have a political election, a standard political election when I was there, at least. I don't know how it's changed over 10 years, but it was basically every election, regardless of what it was windows blown out and buses bombed and stuff like that, because they take it so much more seriously, and because they're with corruption and everything, it makes a big difference who's in power. Whereas here it's the way things are set up, it's pretty stable. We're really bipolar, as far as or polarized. That's the word, right? Wrong word. But we're really polarized in left and right, and that's a problem. Obviously it's an issue, but I just really struggle when you have some girl in college saying that her life is just so hard.
I know, dude, that drives me absolutely crazy. That's just I don't know, because that exact thing drives me crazy. Especially when I was in a psychology class when President Trump was elected, and it was a social psychology class, so you can believe how heated it got in there, because we talked about social events. It's a college campus, it's setting it up for chaos, but it happened, and everyone that was the topic of the day, is let's talk about this Trump election. And basically they just all people were crying in the classroom, shouting and stuff, and then I tried to calm everybody down by saying, yo, it's not the end of the world. You're not bleeding, you're not dying, you're not suddenly have a terminal illness because he got into the office. You'll be fine. Well, if anything, we the people still technically have control. If he does start making tyrannical moves against us, that's why we have the Second Amendment. I'm saying? All this stuff. So, and then I brought up the fact that I was yo, I was freaking down in Little Mexico, where because that one of the things that I really hate is when everybody talks about the cops are corrupt. And that one really bugged me, because at the time that we were living in Tijuana, the cops were really corrupt.
They were actually
corrupt. You didn't call the cops for anything. The only kind of help you would get was if maybe the Mexican army was passing by, which they were always passing by in Tijuana for some reason. I don't know why, but that's the only kind of help. So if you get robbed, you get mugged, whatever, you don't call the cops. You just don't. Especially because you don't even know because the cops were really working with the cartel. They were working with them. So if you got an incident with one of them, the cops will just cover it up and they'll find you. They might, crazy stuff will happen,
Yeah.
So if you got pulled over, it was the end. Your car was probably going to be stolen or whatever, So that was real police corruption, at its core. And when people hear just talking about, oh, the cops are all corrupt, or killing people left and right, and blah blah blah, taking stories out of context. Which I'm not saying every cop has the right, they're not all okay. Maybe a couple of them did some bad things and they need to be punished for it. But they're just talking just and whatever. But it's just pretty insane. And I hate when people start trying to like say like relate to other countries. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like, oh, like try to speak for others, like for other people, like in Mexico and things. Like, it's like, dude, don't even talk, because you have I can clearly see you have no idea how it is. Well, but anyway,
I don't know. Like, one last thing, is like with the whole, like, remember the whole thing with like the Dreamers? Everyone was afraid that President Trump was just going to send them all back. Like, I remember my cousin, and like she's an amazing woman. Like, I love her to death. I think she's incredible. She's like, but I remember her saying something along the lines of like, all of the kids here are just so scared that they're going to be sent back, and like she was like that's just false information. You can't blame an administration on like false information that the Democratic Party is spreading about this. You know, like, you can't just like, you know, okay, you know, I didn't agree. I don't think Dreamers should be sent back. Come on, like, they've lived here their whole lives. Give me a break. But like, you know, this whole idea that like, oh, like this, like, he's terrible, all of these kids are frightened. It's like, no, they're frightened because the news media that you listen to is telling them that
they should be frightened.
Give me a break.
Yeah, I know.
You know, look at this stuff. Like everything that was there was like, you know, okay, well, let's figure this out. It had nothing to do with like, I'll just send them back, put them in chains, you know.
That's like, that's what they're pushing. That's what they're saying is happening or is going to happen.
Yeah, it's one crisis to another. Like, so anyway. Sorry.
When you said that, I was like, it made me think of another thing Bill Burr said. He was in a morning show or whatever, and then they were talking. I was like, oh yeah, like, you know, thanks for coming here. And he was like, yeah, thank you. He was like, you know, I didn't know the economy was. I didn't know. I was like, I'm thankful I don't watch the news. I didn't know the economy was crumbling down until I tuned in, because it's true. It's like you don't even see this stuff happening. Like all this stuff that people are like pushing, you don't really see it. I forgot. I think I have this direct quote right here. Dang, it was super funny. I was like, I had no idea the economy was tanking till I watched the news. It's true. Exactly. Yeah. It was really funny. But anyway, Anyway, let's move on, guys. We've bored you. I've probably lost a couple followers, but that's okay. You know, that's what Courtney was telling me yesterday. Like, I didn't get, obviously, as I didn't want to really get too political. What?
We got pretty political the other day.
Yeah, we did. We're in the car just talking because, you know, it just happens. You know, we're human. But she was saying, like, be careful about talking about all this politics because you're just going to, your whole thing is going to just tank. And I was like, but then I was like, you know, in all honesty, that might be a good thing because then I'll lose the people who are ignorant. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean like, just if anybody is going to be unsubscribing or not wanting to be listen to this at all just because of like my ideas and what I've said, like obviously any rational person can like think and be like, yo, I'm not a bad guy, I just think a certain way, you know. I'm not saying like do this, do that, like whatever. I'm just stating my opinions, and if anybody leaves because of that, then good. You know, I don't want you listening to this because you're obviously not like open to other ideas, and you're going to be one of those
well, that's what's funny. That kind of brings it back to our conversation about like the whole alien convention thing, right?
Yeah.
Because like, you know, what that's going to do is it's just going to kind of winnow your listeners into like a specific, you know, group of people that listens to that kind of thing. It's just the way it works. That's actually like in terms of marketing and everything like that. That's usually what they try to do. They try to find like a niche or a niche, whatever they call it. You know, like because like you can't like please everybody, and you're like, and it comes to the same thing with you're selling a product, right? You're not going to sell a product that's good, like that everybody wants to use. You know?
That's good thing that we're just segueing into business, because that's something I want to talk about too more. That's exactly what one of the things I heard was a lot of these companies, they'll make advertisements that will try they'll try to target everybody.
Right.
They'll try to target like 18 to 60-year-olds. I was like, those are two very different people. You know what I'm saying? Different interests, different likes, different backgrounds, everything. So a lot of businesses are trying to just make this thing that will relate to everyone, you know? And that's just poor marketing because it just doesn't work, you know? You got to figure out what your demographic is. You got to figure out who you're trying to sell to, and then figure out, you know, how to make an ad or commercial or whatever to target that specific demographic. Don't go for like this broad huge demographic you're trying to target. You got to like really find out where you are at and target them.
You know what's funny? Like what you'd want to do is like, as far as like targeting demographics, like it's not like you want to target like a specific kind of like group to make it like people that buy your product are part of this exclusive thing, right? Because what's funny is that like say that you're selling like, I don't know, belt buckles or something like that, and they have a certain design and they're marketed toward like a certain type of guy, like a cowboy type with a huge belt buckle, right? Yeah. You know, what's funny is that like when people see that roll along their Facebook or Instagram, like as an advertisement or whatever, even if they weren't originally in that demographic, in some cases, some people just scroll past it, right? But like, even if they're not, but they see that and they see it as a group that they could belong to, like it makes them join it.
Okay. You know that's something that is kind of funny. Yeah. Because like and then you think like, yeah, how do people even join them? You know, it's like,
yeah, it's like it's about
like what happens with the processes.
Yeah, it's this whole alien convention thing. It's like, you know, that sounds fun. I want to join a convention. I want to be like, you know, and then like your whole Facebook's all of a sudden about how you're an alien, like an alien believer or whatever.
You're an alien.
or yeah, or like in terms of this other example, it's like, oh, I'm like a cowboy, right? Like, you know, and then you start like taking all these weird pictures on Facebook, and like that's who you are, like after like this time. You know, and like
what
obviously
do you mean by
weird pictures like a shirtless or something, like with your belt buckle on.
No, I know exactly what you're saying. I just wanted you to vocalize it. One thing, guys, I did not address, and I did address to Jake. I do have somewhat of a soundboard set up. So I just don't know what the right time to like make this happen.
I've got it too. It's been going this whole time.
Freaking Jake. You catch me off guard with this. Speaking of that, like I was talking about H3. I don't even think I got into the thoughts I was going to have into their podcast because I think we went into something else. Yeah. But I just recently realized too that he has Tourette's, but it is manifested in a different way. Now, I'm not like, you're obviously more knowledgeable about it because you obviously have it, you know, but like he does this thing, and I noticed it since day one because he has videos too. He'll put out video podcasts like I do. Kind of with the freaking phone. And then he does this he'll do this with his eyebrows all the time, like yeah. And I feel really bad because I think I kind of made fun, but not really, like, because I was just curious, like, I don't know why he does this with his eyebrows. He's always like,
yeah.
And then I figured out that he has Tourette's, and that's really how it's manifesting through him is his eyebrows. So I was like, I thought that was just like a vocal kind of thing that happens, or like a twitch, but he's just straight up like,
well, with me, because like I didn't really realize I actually had Tourette's until that whole thing, like about a year and a half ago. And but like what it used to be before that was like I would either go like this a lot, or not a lot though. It was like it wasn't enough that I thought like I had a problem.
Right. You know? It was just like a random kind of twitch thing that would happen.
Yeah.
Every now and then,
like an urge, and then like the other one was like breathing in deep, like you know. And so anyway, I did that like all my life, but like once I got Tourette's like full blown, you know, with that whole thing, I kind of realized what it was, you know.
Yeah.
And so like I'm hoping it just goes back to that eventually.
Yeah.
Like, just because like what was it? Just as far as, I don't know if anyone's interested, but like what happened is I was doing school, right, and I was doing full-time school and full-time work, and I got a really high-pressure job and all that stuff, and I think I just kind of broke, you know.
You freaking work way too hard, dude.
Yeah.
I know that, and I don't really know, like, what you do exactly, but, like, just when you were just talking about, like, everything you did, I'm like, this guy's just got a full plate and then some. He's got one full plate and another full plate. Right?
You didn't make yourself. Oh my gosh.
There's a soundboard action for you guys. since I don't want to laugh alone at my jokes with future guests, I brought some help. But anyway, yeah, dude, you work so freaking hard. Like, I'm not even saying that to make you like me, but I always thought about that. I was like, dang, Jake's freaking. You're one of the hardest workers I know. Like, straight up, like personally. I know harder workers, celebrities. I'm just kidding. No, but like personally, you're one of like you're on the top there, man.
Hopefully, it actually means something someday, because right now I'm like,
you're a pretty inspirational figure. Like, I don't know if you know that. You are, honestly.
Oh, thanks.
Like, I blush.
Oh my God.
But no, but yeah, dude, you freaking. You're a beast. Anyway, yeah, you just but then you like did you like cut things out after you started developing it, or?
Well, what I originally like when everything started happening, I thought I had a brain tumor. So like once I found out that wasn't the case, like I was like, oh, it's just Tourette's, like I can handle that. Okay. Like I'm not dying, you know.
Yeah. Dang, but, that'd be trippy. That's scary, huh?
Yeah,
dude.
It was pretty.
I'm getting scared just thinking about it. Yeah, good thing that didn't happen.
It was a pretty scary time in my life, but like, anyway, I mean, I'm not full time anymore, but it's 3 classes instead of 4. but like, just because I need to get done with school, you know. So like, I'll be graduated this May, so that'll be nice.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
What are you majoring in? I forget.
I was about to say econometrics, economics.
Econometrics.
That's a class I'm taking right now. But like, anyway, I'll be done with that, and hopefully things will open up a little bit after that. But yeah, But anyway, like, I forgot what I was going at with this. The whole story. Well, essentially, yeah. Well, because like now it's like one of those things where like.
Here, hold on. I don't mean to cut you off, but I think something weird just happened with the audio, so I'm gonna check that out real quick. Oh, okay. I really hope our audio didn't get messed up. If it did, whatever. We'll just see. So we'll be right back, guys. I swear, man, sometimes this is just anyway, guys, we are back. I'm taking a breath of fresh air because I was so scared that we lost all of that. For some reason it was playing it was like looping the previous podcast audio with like Jake's, I don't know, you know, sometimes it just screws me up, but anyway, dang, what were we talking about? Sorry, I cut you off because I had to check that real quick.
What was it?
We're talking about you finding out that you had Tourette's. You had a lot of stuff. You're taking 3 classes.
Yeah. So anyway, so from there, it's kind of like hasn't really died down much. I mean, I used to cuss a lot more. I need to be careful because I think this is a PG rated podcast.
Oh, no, people, don't worry. People cuss. People cuss on my podcast. I'll put an E on the end of it, meaning explicit.
Okay, yeah.
So people can listen at their own discretions, and don't worry about it. I honestly don't care.
Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, but now it's just like it's just more of an annoyance for people that are in my classes when I'm doing a test.
How does it become an annoyance though? Because like I know you.
I'm just assuming it is.
Like, yeah, because like even when we went to watch a movie. Not purposely together, but you went with your group and I went with mine, and we ended up in the same movie. And then you were just there. So and you had Tourette's going on, and I didn't even remember that. Like I watched the movie perfectly fine, and I sat right next to you. I'm pretty sure I sat right next to you.
Yeah, maybe that's. Maybe I'm just a little self-conscious.
Am I just freaking weird?
I don't know, but I'm just
some sort of like.
I was taking. I had midterms this last week, so I was taking a few of the tests and stuff, and like I'm just sitting there like I must look like a psychotic because I'm sitting there like doing the test and I'm going like this, and, like making random noises, you know, and like it's like these kids like they must like I don't know.
I mean, you'll definitely have some people who are like. But I don't know, man.
I don't really care though. Like, I mean, I just want to try to be as considerate as I can because they are taking a test, you know.
Yeah, true.
But
I don't know. I mean,
so it's been kind of funny.
I don't know anybody else with Tourette's actually.
Yeah.
So I think it's because I'm like we're friends and I'm used to. I guess I'm just used to it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm trying to freaking put this.
That's usually, I think people end up kind of just tuning it out if they've been around me long enough.
Probably.
But I've noticed that.
Like I said, like I totally forgot. Like anytime I remember like conversations we've had, like it's just
Yeah, like,
and then even like when we're talking now, like I haven't been noticing it this entire time. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Sarah, my girlfriend, she's been like, she tells me that too. She's like, I don't even notice it because I get kind of self-conscious about it sometimes. You know, she's like, I don't even hear it anymore. You know, and it's one of those things. And so I think it's kind of like if you're around me enough that like, you kind of just tune it out, like you know, background noise. So hopefully that's what's happening.
That is, I mean, at least with me, man. Yeah. Totally, like I said, I totally forgot I even had it when I invited you. Yeah, I kind of felt bad.
Nah, it's all right.
Inviting you, but thanks for showing up, dude. All right, let's get back in it because I totally like went off the rails because I thought this whole thing. Okay, so now let's talk about things I'm passionate about. Yeah. Space.
Yeah,
space. How do you do a lot of research into like space, or are you kind of curious about it? Or?
Yeah, I did a little bit. Like I don't know. Like I really like that. I almost said show. I'm showing my Utah, but like the movie Interstellar.
Oh, okay.
I love that movie. It's like one of my favorites. And so like after that, like it kind of made me curious. Like as far as like dimensional like theory and string theory and all that stuff that
like
I thought
time space continuum.
Yeah, so I don't know, like my interest isn't so much in space as just space, but just like this dimensional side of just like reality.
Right. That is super interesting.
Yeah. So I mean that's what I thought was really interesting, and so I got kind of into that whole thing with that one Japanese guy with the white long hair. You know, I can't rember his name, but he's really.
There's a lot of Japanese guys.
Well, no, like this guy particularly.
He's dojos. Like, they have long eyebrows to go with their hair.
Cultural. I can't remember his name. He's like a very, very famous theoretical physicist.
Dang, and I think I'm into this. I didn't even know this person. I got
you had to look into him because like.